Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. So, rise. Don't give the invitation, please.
Let's pray. We thank you, God, for the warmth of spring and for the growth and the green that fills our community, for the spring rains that bring renewal. We ask that you give our leaders wisdom this evening as they bring renewal and hope to our community. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Mr. McKnight, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In your packet you have the minutes dated March 3rd, 2015. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion. Second.
Motion is second. Any corrections? All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. At this time is part of the agenda is special presentation. I might need to go forward for that one.
Watch how close you do.
What?
This is the presentation of Midas, who is...
Bring him out here so we can see.
Yeah. You're not telling me to do it. I said the wrong man. All right. I'll read the resolution as follows. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Kennett, Missouri as follows. Whereas Midas has rendered effective and faithful service to the City of Kennett, Missouri as a K-9 officer for a total of 5 years. This dog here, that's 35 years, so it's quite a while this month. Whereas Midas has honored the duties incumbent upon that office, such as traffic stops, vehicle searches, building searches, article searches, tracking suspects, and missing persons, and has always identified the highest ideals of public service on behalf of our city. And whereas this last appearance was aimed at its handler in the possible use of deadly force in apprehending the suspect, it is altogether fitting and proper that recognition be given by our community to Midas for dedicated service as a K-9 officer. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Kennett, Missouri that Midas is hereby committed for exemplary service to the people of Kennett, Missouri. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Officer Dennis, we appreciate the work. Keeping Midas on his toes.
Y'all gonna look at me and shake hands? Is he shaking?
Well,
One of them away.
well, he's retired now, right?
When he gets done, you can pay him, Joe. That's the new one we have to worry about.
The new one, huh?
If I can say, you know, you observe a dog, a canine officer, and really, a lot of the work is not just him, it's him and his family, because this canine dog goes home and is part of his family. So if the dog's sick, the family has to take care of it, dog has to be fed, dog has to be taken care of 24/7. So it's more than just the officer, and we thank his family for that. Plus, he has to do extra duty just to keep the dog up to the job at hand. So with that, there's a big thanks that goes to somebody who's a canine handler. And Mark, we appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll go into department reports. I'll start with Chief Malott.
And Mark just left, but he just finished up 80 hours with the new K9 start. And I think he's wanting to wait a few weeks, and he's gonna bring the new canine in for you all to meet him. And, so the dog is, Stark has been certified, and, from what I've talked to, Officer Dennis, and Chief Dennis talked to him, and observed, I think we're on the right track with another canine that's gonna do the city a great service. Also, the pound was inspected by Miss Driscoll of the Missouri Department of Agriculture, and out of 585 records, she thought she found a discrepancy before she left that cleared up. So out of the inspection, everything looks like it's online and looks good and no demerits. So that's kudos to Miss Pettit for her job out the animal pound. And I think that's about it. I think there's some other things on the agenda that are to come up, recommendations from the committee. Everything, Chief? Everything?
All right, Mr. Carter.
Brief comments too, we've got some other things on the agenda also. We've been patching blacktop and concrete streets with our patch material. Still got a long ways to go. We think we've got most of the bad ones, real bad ones done. We've had the grader out every day that's been fit to run it, and we hauled off all the gravel that we had in stock. We've got more coming in, but we're having trouble getting it out of Arkansas because it's so wet over there. We're trying to get some more gravel out and working on those streets. Had Barney out today, and he'll be out tomorrow, working on some of our real bad spots on the drains. Today we started running the sweeper 2 shifts, try to get some of the sand and gravel up off the concrete and asphalt streets before it washes back in the drain, possibly tomorrow night. We were finding quite a bit of that out, so trying to get that done. I'll conclude with the street committee met last week, and we discussed many things, but one of the things we discussed was South Jackson, the issues we've got down there with it. And for making things brief, they've given me some more tasks to find information and bring it back to them for further discussion, to try to work through some issues. It hasn't been forgotten, but we are working on it. We don't have any answers or resolutions at this time.
To you and the street committee both, Third Street, I noticed your report still having holes opening. Have y'all been discussing?
I was at, in February, I was at a conference, and met with many companies that do the pipelining type of operation. We just need to figure out some way to budget something for money to do that.
Is there any numbers on that budget?
Yeah, I mean, by the time we get around to working the budget, we'll have some. I don't have any from them at this point in time, y'all know.
Thank you, sir. And that will conclude that. We'll move into old business. And item A is approval of vacated alley.
Okay, you have an ordinance in your packet, and what this is for, we talked about this back in early February and January. It's been approved by planning and zoning. It's to vacate a portion of 7th Street, a real short portion of 7th Street from one lot, and then an alley next to that lot. The first reading is an ordinance to discontinue and vacate a portion of 7th Street lying south of Lot 5, Block F, Laswell addition to the city of Kennett, and that portion of the alley lying east of the south 42.30 feet of Lot 5, Block F, Laswell addition to the city of Kennett.
Is there a motion to approve this?
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. We'll do a second read. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Second read.
An ordinance to discontinue and vacate a portion of 7th Street lying south of Lot 5, Block F, Laswell addition to the city of Kennett, and that portion of the alley lying east of the south 42.30 feet of Lot 5, Block F, Laswell addition to the city of Kennett.
Hold on. Second.
Brad? Discussion? All in favor say aye, and roll call vote.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
That motion passes. Or ordinance passes. Yep. All right, policy here. Item B is approval of cell phone policy.
And again, you have it in your packet, and it's a policy that Chief Malott and I have both reviewed, and we think will cover and meet our needs.
I know the closing paragraphs are pretty strong, but that opening paragraph are employees whose job responsibilities include regular or occasional driving are encouraged to refrain from using cellular device while driving.
I think that covers the emergency.
Okay, we'll go second line, I'll go to sentence regardless of circumstance, including.
Well, we're never saying that they can't use cell phones while on duty, while driving.
Okay,
Because there are circumstances when you want them to, or whether they're going to have to.
oh, okay. Well, the next to last paragraph, the text messages, reading emails, writing emails is absolutely not allowed under any circumstance, so that, is that a contradiction of your?
No,
first paragraph?
no, I mean, you're encouraged not to use cell phones. But the first paragraph refers to usage of cell phones, and I know it's odd to actually think of using them this way, but as a telephone.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
does this apply to everyone that receives compensation from the city?
I would assume it would.
Anyone who's an employee.
In their own cars, is that too, or is it just in a city vehicle?
While they're on duty.
What was your question, Lee?
Well, I mean, does it apply to you all? If I get a call from one of you all at 8 o'clock at night, can I answer it? If it's from a city official, am I on duty at that point in time? If it's about a street matter, if I get a call from the street department about a problem with the street, am I on duty?
And you're in your car?
Am I on my personal car at 8 o'clock at night?
You should pull over.
I think that would be an exception.
Well, again, this is a very flexible policy.
You're encouraged to refrain from using cell phone.
I think common sense goes a long way in this.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how it is written.
Any other questions? All in favor of the policy say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to the policy say nay. Looks like it passes.
Okay, wait, I didn't get, who made the motion?
Where the wax and McDowell.
You're carrying it tonight.
Well, already.
Isn't that right, guys? Quick, y'all know what I'm talking about.
What is that mess?
All right. Item C, property maintenance fund ordinance.
Okay, I've looked into this, and Judge Mauer looked into assessing some type of cost through court on property maintenance cases or property, and we can't find any statutory authority to do it. Plus, with the current climate regarding it with municipal courts, or as to being revenue producers right now, would be really bad time to start looking into raising additional revenue through the courts. So I think we probably need to drop this for now.
Was there a municipal that was supposed to get back with this? If they had any cities?
I don't.
I think with the advice of
I
the
think
So
we
we'll
need-
just
counselor, we need to.
totally table it,
I
or?
think it's not table, I think we just drop it.
Drop it, okay.
Anybody has any comments? If not, we'll move on. Human resource proposal,
That needs to be tabled.
that needs to be taken. Fire department holidays.
Okay,
Love this.
we, our fire safety, or the public safety committee met, and along with the firefighters and whatever, and in order to bring some equalization to it, we recommend that, to establish a base amount because of their weird hour arrangements where they work 24-hour shifts and whatever, that we simply take their annual salary, divide it by the 2,080 hours. It's a typical work year, and then multiply that amount by 10 hours, and that would be their holiday pay for a given day. And that would also, if you make some comparison, that's pretty close in line with what the police department gets off of.
So we're gonna get 10 hours of holiday pay, and then,
But it would be based on dividing their
annual salary by
2,080
2,080.
hours.
Make sure it's their base annual salary.
Yeah, I've got base.
Chief Malott had some comparisons there, and it's gonna be very close to what we are authorizing our police officers to get for holiday pay.
In line item on check stuff.
Probably.
5 of them, 5 lines for one pay.
Well, I mean, Tracy's gonna have enough trouble with it, but I mean, at least you can establish a given number for each officer.
All right, we need to make a is that in form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Second.
We have a second for that. Everyone familiar with the motion that's been raised? All right, any discussion or questions? All in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion passes. We'll move into fire station number 2. Chief Lott, or Ms. Oklowitz?
Well, I mean, we did meet tonight, the public safety committee, and discussed it, and actually we had a recommendation that came out of the committee based on the information we got from Chief Malott, that we proceed with the contract with the GHN, is that?
Yes.
I just thought when you said
Architectural
fire
firm.
station, to proceed with that, to go ahead and present to them what we're looking for, and we already have a contract with them, we just kind of put it on hold. Is that your understanding? Sure. Okay. So, that we proceed with that contract and go ahead and get the ball rolling on getting the fire station that we need. So,
Any questions to that?
Was that just a request by you to drop the proceedings on that, or did we make a motion in a meeting? I don't remember, Mayor.
I don't remember. It's during the time we had a budget crunch,
We
so
just asked everybody to
we
stop.
just asked everyone to stop, so. Let's just say I asked for that to stop.
But we don't necessarily need a motion to get it restarted.
I wouldn't think so, unless Mr. McVeigh says so.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
proceed with. Okay, municipal building updates. The last item of no business.
Well, that was tabled from last week, and That was also during the time we were talking about looking at the budget and if you've got money, spend it and that type of thing. So, you know, this may just need to be tabled until we see how we're doing in the other departments. I just don't want us to forget it.
I understand. As the other people on this part of y'all start to come up with a pretty good list of capital purchases that we need to make this year?
Street committee's got it in front of them at this time.
Yes.
All right. And we'll conclude old business. We'll move into new business. Presentation to the council on the stormwater proposal. Palmer, is that yours or? Okay. Please come up and.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, Council, we made a proposal to develop a stormwater program, and we thought this was the best way to do it. It should be in front of you, so you can follow along.
Your name, please, sir.
I'm Charles Morris, and I'm with Benton Associates. I'm a senior professional engineer with the company. The first thing I wanted to go over with you is what the goals of this program is, because it has good reason for it existing, and a lot of times we are a little bit sensitive of government when they require us to do things, and if we don't know why we're doing it. So that's my first goal, is to talk to you about why the program even exists, and then what is involved with it, and then what we would do in that process. So the goals are basically, the big one is to try to replicate, as we develop, any city or urban area develops, it increases the amount of runoff from that area, and it also degrades the quality of it. There's a lot of pollutants in it. And so the goals, as you can see there, of the program is to reduce the volume of stormwater and to ensure stormwater has minimal pollutants and control pollutants leaving construction sites, and also control mimic, in other words, the infiltration process that existed before development occurred. Now, these are ideals or goals of it, and obviously, in most cases, cost prohibitive. So what this plan is about is how can we meet that within the resource of the city for the best good. And it's called the maximum practical solution to the problem. So if you look on the second page, again, it talks about the intent of the stormwater management plan. And the very first thing says, reduce discharge of pollutants to the maximum extent practical. And of course, that depends on the community, the resources of the community, and the problem. In other words, what kind of problems are we creating and so forth. So, and we also need to, and this was said about, to try to appropriate water quality requirements of the Clean Water Act, which was passed a long time ago by our government. And Kennett comes into this issue because the first was phase one, and that was a bigger city, it was over 100,000. Now it's in phase two, which was brought in 1999, and that's for populations greater than 10,000, so that's how it affects Kennett. On the third page, I have the minimum control measures, and this is what's put out by DNR. One of the things we have to do is convince the public and also educate them on why we're doing this, why we're spending the money that we're trying to accomplish. So we have public education now to meet with citizens of Kennett and the council, the mayor, and everybody involved with it, and bring you along with this process. So there's a public participation involvement, and then also we have to identify illicit discharges. If there's industries that's discharging waters that are polluted, we have to at least identify all those places wherever it's being discharged. And then we have construction site runoff, erosion, and pollutants come off of that. And then the fifth one is post-construction. So in other words, that would be in a subdivision to control the amount of runoff due to the urbanization or industrial areas, to reduce that volume or control it so it doesn't flood people downstream or cause issues. And then 6 is pollution prevention, good housekeeping with the city itself to make sure that they're doing what they should be doing to control it. So the bottom of page 3 is develop stormwater management plan, and there's a disagreement about how some people call it SMP for stormwater. If you look at stormwater as a single word, or I have it SWMP with stormwater management plan. And you have to submit a 5-year report on the progress of the plan. And the plan is not just for 5 years, but we want to lay the whole plan out to meet the requirements, and then we have to report over 5 years, the city does, about where they are in meeting that plan. And one word of caution is that whatever we propose to do, whatever the city proposed to do, and we put in the plan, we need to make sure we can do it. And we have to do that every 5 years to report that to DNR, what the progress is. And of course, what they look for, what did you say you were gonna do, and what have you done? And one of the things we found in the audit process, that's one of the things they're very sensitive about, is if you say you're gonna do a bunch of stuff and you don't do it, then that you'd be in more trouble. We wanna make it realistic, what you can accomplish, what the city's comfortable with, but when we make that commitment in the plan, then we make sure we meet that. So I had there set measurable goals and dates for those goals to be met, so it's consistent with the plan. And it also provides the city with a long-term plan, not just 5 years, but what are you gonna do, you know, the next 5 years, and so forth. So the stormwater management program, what is required? Well, the Clean Water Act requires it, and the city must submit this 5-year plan every 5 years. And then on the program can accomplish, you can reduce and control flooding in the city. If there's problems where people are having flood problems or getting rid of surface water, whatever the problem may be. Generate revenue for capital improvements, in other words, make improvements to the sewer system if that's necessary and required. Protect the water quality of lakes and streams, reduce civil suits, in other words, people live that get flooded, suing the city for flooding problems or losses associated with that. So we reduce the, or manage the possibility of lawsuits of people against the city. And on page 5, at the very top, the things that cause the plan to fail might be a bad plan. In other words, if the city doesn't understand that they've got to meet this, that's a bad plan. Or if we have a plan that doesn't meet what DNR requires us to do. The other problem we run into is money. Obviously, if we say we're going to do something, in some cases it requires resources to do that. So I want to talk about some things we can do. And yet, the last one, and maybe the most important one, is public support for the stormwater program. If they know what it is, what's required, why it's being done, and so forth. So success of a good plan comes from addressing those 6 minimum requirements and a good roadmap or plan on how we're going to meet it every 5 years, and also for the city to know what the plan financially is going to cost, so you can plan for it, put it in the budget, and make sure we have the resources to do it. We develop ordinances for control, and permits are required for different aspects of it. For instance, permits sometimes are required for a contractor to put in erosion control that needs to be checked to make sure it's efficient to do what it's supposed to do. And develop funding mechanism for the program, because, and one of the ways we have recommended, and cities have done it, is to use a utility fee for stormwater. So in other words, the people or the areas that are producing the maximum amount of stormwater pay for supporting the program to reduce it. And then we basically talk about successes come with a good plan. So on each 5-year cycle, we need to include all tasks required to implement programs, include time schedule for the implementation of those tasks, include costs for each task, include funding mechanisms to support the program, and I have in principle utility fee if the city wants to approach it that way. But we need to make sure there is funding sources to meet whatever we put in the plan. and then update the program whenever necessary. If we see, for whatever reason, we can't meet it, then we need to update it and replan it and develop, modify the plan to make it fit. Okay, on page 7, I have advice, and this is from other cities we've worked with to do this. You want to work with a good plan, and that good plan will help get it off of the right foot or build a good foundation for it.